And welcome everyone to Speak for Yourself with Marco and Patrick. I am Marco Glorious.
And I'm just Patrick.
And we are two different types of guys who respectfully share and listen to society's opinions while making certain to listen to each other, but always speak for ourselves.
Now, we're not experts, so if you're angry, blame yourself. We're just speaking for ourselves.
Although Patrick loves to think of himself as an expert.
I mean, because I am. I said the very first episode of this that I am always right.
Yeah, you did say that. Yes.
I've been proven to be wrong, but that's all hearsay and blasphemy. How are you?
Listen, I'm good, man. Second season, third episode.
I mean, we're going through.
Right?
We're pushing through.
Absolutely.
I still like you.
Yeah, I like me too.
Oh, God. You guys may notice that there's a bit different shot here. I mean, taking some notes.
Got some angles.
And we got some help. Shout out to Mr. Adam, what is it again?
Somer.
Adam Somer.
Adam.
He is in the building, but you will not see him, but he is sitting far away.
New friend of ours. We appreciate his
appreciating
insight.
us being a mess.
His what?
We're a mess. We're a mess.
Yeah. You're messy.
Am I?
You're messier.
In any regard. On our way here, Marco, something fun happened. You want to talk about it? Tell the people.
What? What are you talking about?
You know when we were walking to the street and a car drove by and it was funny, girl. You want to tell her what happened?
So we were walking by as a police car, and the person in the car opened up the window in the back of the police car, was like, Marco, how you doing?
Fully waving, pulled down their mask. It was absolutely insane. They didn't have handcuffs on though, so they probably were just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Only to you. Only in New York.
That was sweet though. That was very sweet.
How's everything been?
Good, man. Hanging
How's
in
everything
there.
been since the last episode?
I mean, I'm good. I'm here, standing strong in my opinion. You know what I mean? I stand strong in my opinion. And as always, I think we both do, and that's, respectfully share each other's opinions. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we will always do. And I will always do that.
Okay. You put your chest out, you put your hands down, you press.
My chest is always out.
Anyway. You know what I respect about you, though? The communication aspect of who you are. Because you know what? Throughout it all, you communicate well, and you stand in your truth, even if it's bullshit. And that is... clap up for you.
That's your opinion. I like how we tried to do that. You see that?
I love that. It was a
cute.
compliment.
That was backhanded.
It was nice.
It was cute. I saw what you did. But listen, communication, I wouldn't necessarily say is my strongest suit when it comes to my personal life.
Okay. Okay, keep going.
You all right?
You speaking for yourself. Go off.
No, but communication is very important, though, but not necessarily speaking. Okay. Communication can be many things. It can be touch. It can be the way that you look at someone, the way that your body movement, your body language is.
I don't disagree with you. I think
communication.
Yeah, communication could be a look. It could be a stare. It could be just a growl. It could be everything and anything. It's senses.
Not for nothing. Doing what I do, just hosting events and hosting different types of events. Communication is key, and body language has always been something that I've used on a regular basis.
I'm a body language expert.
Are you? So that's what you're an expert in.
100%.
What type of language are you talking? Body language.
I'm talking about body language. Okay, we're not gonna get into those things today, but we're gonna get into some things, child. So you mentioned, you don't think you're a good communicator?
No, I am a great communicator.
Okay.
I don't think I'm the best when it comes to speaking.
Oh, that's humbling.
In a relationship.
Oh,
I'm just gonna say
it could be any type of relationship. Or just more romantic?
Well, I'll start with the romantic.
Okay.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
I speak for a living.
Okay.
So I thankfully, I'm appreciative that people think I'm a great speaker for what I do for my profession.
You speak very well, yes.
Thank you, as do you.
Thank you.
But when it comes to my personal life and relationships, I think I can do better.
Oh.
And for nothing, I would hope that we all probably would have that point of view. But
in what way can you be better?
Speaking wise, I think, sometimes, we forget that people don't always, assume the way we assume or think the way that we think, and we have to.
That's that masculinity seeping through. But anyway,
well, I'm a man, but no,
we know.
You see it. You see the beard.
Oh God.
Okay.
As you were.
Now the thing about it is, people have to keep in mind that we have to speak for ourselves. You have to let people know on a regular basis, like. People regularly get into, and these are all relationships, not just personal, sexual, whatever, all relationships. You can't expect a person to think exactly the way that you do.
It's funny that you're mentioning this because I was discussing this with a colleague probably earlier today about lack of communication and kind of this idea of fear. I think oftentimes we don't communicate explicitly what we want because it could make people feel uncomfortable. And we've had many uncomfortable conversations here, and in this space. And I think that one thing that we agreed to, even when we got into this, is that we are not going to be rehearsed. And I mean, even the last episode and a lot of episodes, I'm understanding how you communicate as we go through this and understanding your perspective on a lot of things. And I'm appreciative of it being completely truthful, honest, and I think you are a good communicator when it calls for it. I guess I'm not in your bedroom, child. I don't know how you are in your relationships. I mean, I know you. It's fine. Well, anyway, but I think that it is different in relationships too, and I think that comes from fear. Like people don't even communicate what they want to do in the bedroom. People don't even communicate how they feel about certain things because they just be along to get along, and it is a bit sad.
So now, guys, we're talking about all different types of relationships.
All types of relationships.
But okay, since we said
let's talk. We can go to friends bedroom. Yeah, you can bring it up. Yeah,
that shit is important. Matter of fact, listen.
As he pulls that off.
No, because it's important. I feel like oftentimes, people get into situationships, relationships, and they're more or less comparing their situation to their previous situation.
We talked about this before, yeah.
We did, and that's fine. But, and if you want to get your rocks off, there's certain things that you appreciate, that you like. You have to speak about it, communicate it in a certain way. It doesn't necessarily have to be spoken initially, but there's ways to let people know, like, oh, you know what, I appreciate this, I'm into this, and I would think that a gradual progression would help your plight.
Do you think, speaking from the straight black male perspective, do you think it's just difficult for black men, especially straight black men, to communicate?
Yes,
Why?
I do. I feel like our society, kind of has labeled black men to be angry. Our society fears men of color.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a reason why it's off-putting when you see a black man or a man of color get emotional. Like people don't know how to act. And not for nothing, I've been the guy if I'm quiet at the workplace. Mark, are you okay? Everything all right?
But you're
okay?
also quiet when you're angry. We've had experiences as friends, or you're just quiet when you don't want to talk about something, which is fair. I think everyone who wants to be a bit cagey is fair. It's fair to be cagey. You don't have to, be explicitly and telling everyone exactly what's going on.
Correct. Sometimes I have a lot on my mind.
Yeah.
People have, things that you were thinking about, but I'm still there to do a job.
So how do you navigate that, especially in the workplace? Because relationships, this is a rare relationship, right? A relationship that we have. We are coworkers that have become really close friends. Yeah. And oftentimes, and I'm a firm believer in separating the two. Your coworkers shouldn't be your friends. If it happens to happen, that's great. But one thing you risk by doing that is by having personal relationships with these people, it comes back to work. And work stuff shouldn't overlay with personal stuff. And if you have friends that do that, for one, they're not your friends. And for two, you need to watch those bitches, because those bitches is coming for something, and it might be your pockets. And that's just the tidbit of today for Patrick. Nice. But honestly, it's interesting how, because you could be going through something personal, and people can take it personal. You could be going through something personal, and people could take offense to how you handle a situation, how you communicate when you're short, because they're used to you communicating in another way.
Correct. Now, literally, I've gone through, especially as of late.
Yeah, you've been through a lot.
I've had deaths in my family. And I've still worked, and I've worked through it. Now, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. You know what I mean? But I don't think anyone would have really known unless you either spoke to me or you might have seen something on social media. Like, I try to maintain a certain level of professionalism.
Yeah.
But I'm also considerate of the fact that I am at work, and I know that I might be in my head right now, but the person doesn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they have no idea. So in the back of my mind, I'm also considering their approach and their feelings, and like, okay, you know what I mean? They have no idea what's going on with me.
Do you think we as black people kind of put that trauma on ourselves? I mean, for me, perfect example, I think I am not a good communicator at all.
Really?
I think I'm good having a conversation like this when everything is kind of set up, but in regards to communicate emotion, communicating feelings, I'm an Aquarius. I'm cold as hell. I'm aloof. I don't really care to bother people with my stuff. And that's hurt me in friendships. It's hurt me in, intimate relationships and just relationships in general because I don't like to bother anyone with my stuff. I don't think that is a good way to communicate. I don't think that's a good way to navigate life. And I'm working through it day by day. And I'm opening up more. It probably tends to come from trust issues. But with that being said, do you think their lack of communication can then therefore make people angry with you? And to counter that, can over communication then make people angry with you?
This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the best communicators are the best listeners.
I agree with that.
And people, people might say that they are not good communicators.
Yeah.
But if you can listen, digest what your friend, your partner, your coworker is saying, listen to it, digest it, and then able to regurgitate some sort of positivity back to them, I think you're a great communicator.
But the reality of it is people are narcissists. People don't really care to listen to other people's stuff. They'd rather bother them with their own shit.
Not all. I mean, I'm going to go out. I still have hope for humanity.
Good.
But, that's something that we all have to work on. That's why I said in the beginning, I think I'm a good communicator, but I still have work to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into every relationship thinking that, every audience that I have, I'm approaching it differently. There's different types of people. I'm not going to necessarily approach this joke with this person the same way. Just
you won't do that? Honey,
no.
You be pushing it.
I push it.
You push it.
I do push it.
Push it good.
You're right.
All right.
Salt and pepper, shout out.
All right. But so you do cater it to different audiences, and you do think that you do that?
Yes.
You communicate differently with different people.
Yes, I try to. I try to have a certain amount of knowledge about as many people, culture as possible. I do. I don't like to offend. I do try to push the envelope.
Yeah.
But I do it with the hopes of bringing everybody together.
Got it.
One of our last podcasts, I think I talked about,
Yeah.
sharing our differences, celebrating our differences. And I think if we get over that hub as a society, things will get easier. And that'll go back to, us communicating better.
Have you communicating, you in your situation, especially because what you do, you are a constant communicator, essentially. Your whole thing is bringing people together and making people have a good time. Has it ever gone wrong for you?
Yeah. Shit.
How many times?
Well, I mean,
I can think recently when it's gone wrong.
What do you mean recently?
And, well, that's somebody else's shit because that was nothing to do with you. We'll talk about that offline.
Okay, I don't
Teaser.
know what the hell you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, that time at that bar with that one person that we won't discuss and we won't leave that here.
You said we're going to bring that up.
Girl, I just wanted to be messy.
Listen, see
I
what
just
I'm
wanted
saying?
to be messy.
No, but listen, okay, I'm gonna say something. It's not funny, but it's all right. So I host all different types of events.
Yeah.
I was hosting a wedding. It was a wedding. I do a lot of high-end weddings. We do a lot of wedding receptions of myself.
Oh,
and
so
my
you
team.
rich. So you got this bill. You got the bag.
I mean, you
Copy.
need me to get it?
Copy.
You need me to get it?
Keep going.
I got you. If
I'll
you
leave
need
it
me.
there.
You know what I mean?
We'll shelve that
Listen,
one.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so just and it's such an auspicious occasion. People are having a great time. We're celebrating. We're about to bring in the bridal party, the family, the bride and groom. I love to get people, clapping, feeling good about life, standing. So I'm asking everybody to stand. People are clapping their hands. I'm asking everybody to clap their hands, and I see someone who her face looks very engaged, but she wasn't really clapping. You know what I mean? And I go to her, her face looked happy though. So she had an approachable face. So I was like, listen, girl, you're not clapping your hands. I need you to clap your hands.
Uh-oh.
She had no hands, fam. She had no hands. And when I tell you, I felt like the biggest piece of shit.
You should, Marco. You should.
No, I definitely did. I kept it moving.
And I should feel bad for laughing. But you should feel bad for laughing.
I kept it. No, I can't lie about this. I kept it moving. It was a great opening, a great introduction. We introduced everybody, the bride and groom. Everybody was fantastic. Once everybody came in, bride and groom came in, we sat everybody down. I walked up to this woman. I said, listen, I wholeheartedly apologize. I am so sorry. I didn't see. She had her hands. I didn't see that she didn't have any hands.
I'm going to hell.
So I apologize.
I'm going to hell.
But she was like, no more. She reassured me. She's like, you had no idea. You were great. Her face was so happy. So what she was trying to do.
Because she had no hands.
Yeah. She was trying to really let me know how engaged she was. I felt like such a piece of shit. But you know what? That was me What was your question? Like, I think
has it ever gone wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's wrong.
that shit went
That's
wrong.
very wrong.
wrong.
That's very left.
So, but it happens to the best of us. And, she ended up having a great time. We ended up becoming, social media friends and all that. But, things happen.
Yeah.
And you can't allow something bad happening to stunt your communication for the rest of your life.
I mean, speaking for me, I think that we all communicate differently in every environment that we're in, right? Like, I communicate differently with you while we're at work, while we're outside of work. And I don't think it's like
a little
code.
too touchy-feely, son.
What are you talking about? I don't think it's like code switching. I don't think it's like code switching or anything like that, especially when we're like at work, because I think I communicate kind of across the board and I treat everyone with respect, no matter like, level of, superiority, if you want to say it, or if you're a supervisor or a PA or anyone like that. If you're an adult, you're treated with respect and all that stuff.
Yes.
Do you think we as people, just in general, have to adapt how we communicate with people in general?
When you say we as people, you talking about people of color?
Let's make it about that. People of color, do you think we have to communicate differently in every environment that we're in?
I think specifically people of color do.
I completely agree. Please, you tell me yours and I'll tell you mine.
No, just because, at the end of the day, this is our society, our American society is a European hierarchy. It's been that way. And that's just the way of life.
Yeah.
So what we know growing up in our households, we have to like kind of tailor it. Like people have their work voice and they have their, their at home chill voice. So so it's people of color. Yes, I think we're getting better as a society. I think people are becoming.
I don't think we're getting better because I don't. I don't think we're getting better because if you aren't speaking or communicating the way that someone likes, they're still bothered by it. Meaning that if I'm giving you a direct answer, and just because you didn't like how I gave it to you, that's on you and not on me. Yeah, I'm not angry about anything. Like if someone sends you a message and you're on the phone and you just say like fine, and they're like, oh, what's all that? It's like, why are you making this a thing when I just said fine? It's as if you have to have tone correcting. You have to say the right thing. You have to coddle their opinion, their narcissism in order to communicate effectively with the person.
See,
and that to me is bullshit. And it's especially it happens a lot at work when, in a sense, not our jobs, just in general, just things speaking to people in a certain way just for them to feel okay to speak to you.
But I think that's like optimal communication. I think you have to be considerate. I think you should be considerate.
That's bullshit.
I think that's optimal communication. If you're considerate of the person that you're talking to, you want to listen. If you're trying to get your point across in the best way possible, why wouldn't you be considerate to?
It's not about being considerate, but it should be fine if I say what I say, how I say it, shouldn't it be?
Yes.
If you didn't like how I said it, that's on you, right?
But you see, like, okay, when I told you that I have had deaths in my family, and I was considerate about people who may not have known, or even if they did know, they still wanted to talk to me. Like, I didn't really want to do much talking.
Yeah.
Outside of work. Like I was there to like I specifically hosted events days after my father passed away. And I didn't really want to do much talking other than the talking I had to do for work.
Got it.
But people wanted to give me their condolences. They wanted to,
Which is great.
Yeah. But I had to be considerate of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thank you. I didn't want to talk at all, but like, Marco, I'm so sorry. I think, and they wanted, some people prayed. I appreciated all of it.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I think when
we've had like offline conversations, and I'm not going to touch that too much because I think that's a very personal thing. But I do think that even if you were to react in a different way that was a bit more quote unquote aggressive or negative, I think you're fair in feeling that way. You know what I mean? I understand you being considerate, but you're okay to be a mess for a moment.
Yeah.
And I think people negate the idea or forget that people are people and they deal with shit.
Yeah.
And how they deal with it is how they deal with it. You can respect it.
To your point, people will forget that I'm going through shit because
That goes back to narcissism, though. That goes back to narcissism. I'm sorry. It goes back to narcissism. Because if someone knows that you lost someone in your life, you can choose to acknowledge it or you can choose not to acknowledge it. Everyone knew. Not even just that situation, just things in general. If you're communicating with this person, if you consider them a part of your life, you'll know what's going on. You may not directly know, but even if something's off, you can communicate with someone else, like what's going on with them. It's like, oh, this is what happened. Oh, then you can choose to say that's why they're acting that way or not.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Speaking to the microphone.
They heard what I said. You know what I'm saying? I got a strong voice.
No, but I think this whole idea of like communication, it's crazy because we were talking about this earlier because then it trickles into expectation because it's like you expect people to communicate in the way that you want them to, which is complete bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Yeah.
It is bullshit, but you know what? I think also, as we've said before, we choose the people that we are around. I guess not in work.
Yeah.
We don't choose those people, but the people that we're friends with, so not for nothing, we kind of are choosing people that kind of view things the same way that we view things to an extent.
Oh, that's so bold. That's so
no, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so we have to keep that in mind. So if the person is not looking at things the way that you look at it, maybe is that really your friend? Is that really the person that you should be calling your significant other?
But shouldn't you have friends that call you out?
Yes, absolutely.
Shouldn't you have friends that disagree?
Absolutely.
Shouldn't you have friends that the way that they communicate is different than you? Isn't that what life is about?
Yes, but then don't get mad when that person is like, oh, well, you just responded fine. Like, are you okay? Why are you just saying fine?
No, but then I think that's more on the person and not the person who's demonstrating their form of communication.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm offended by what you say, if it's not offensive, like why am I offended by it? Just because you didn't say it the way that I liked it?
Some people are like that.
Well, then that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, that's narcissism, and that's more about you than about how they're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nonsense. Just because I say something with matter of fact or something that is very direct doesn't mean that it's mean. It just means that that's how I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm. And also people don't know you.
It's like those people that always send like LOLs after messages. It's like, just want to let you know that it's like not this big of a deal. It's an LOL. It's a smiley face. It's like, you could just put a period. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
But they don't know you that well to do
But what about the people that do know you that well? When does that come into play and do that? What if someone finds issue? And I think the reason why I'm so like there's so much umbrage in what it is that I'm saying is because like I literally had this conversation with someone that I'm really cool with like last night, and they were like, "Oh, you send these messages and all this stuff," and I'm like, maybe you're overthinking what I'm sending because you're thinking it's something like that. They were like, "Oh yeah, they created a narrative that wasn't even true based off of what I said via text message." Because I'm just like, what? Like I just said something very simple, communicating the way that I thought was fine, and it was very matter of fact. But all of a sudden, it was a complete soliloquy of what Patrick was thinking, what Patrick was feeling, and now Patrick is this asshole.
Well, how well do you think this person knows you?
I think they think that they know me better than they do, which is fine.
But
That's
how well
fine.
do you think that they know you?
Not well.
Okay, so then there you go.
I mean, yeah. I think a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people don't ask the challenging questions to get to know people. I put that on me as well sometimes too. I'm not the easiest person to communicate with. I'm very good at directing the narrative back to the other person.
Very good at it.
That's called producing people.
101.
Producing 101.
No,
Hit me up on I'm Just Patrick for those tips.
That's like there's a deeper side to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like people have to realize, like, I get that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things when me and you first started hanging out, I was like, yo,
you saw the depth.
Fuck all the bullshit. I'm trying to get to know you,
Yeah.
Patrick. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, fuck, we used to call you out.
Yeah,
Stop producing.
You're producing this
You're
moment.
producing. We're at the fucking bar. You know what I'm saying? No, but then
I'm just trying to hold my peach. I'm trying to get my diamond together, child. I'm just trying to keep that apple together, child.
But no,
trying to get a second season.
But like I that's why I asked the question. So that person probably doesn't know you that well.
I don't even think that person is aware, and this person is probably listening and watching right now.
We hope so. Thank
is
you for listening.
aware of them even doing it.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm here calling them out. So whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a conversation.
No, but it happens.
After they watch and listen to this.
It happens. It happens to me as well. And I realize those people, like, it's okay. I'm a little bit more forgiving, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, I know you don't.
Where does that come from, the forgiveness? Because if someone is... Because my question is, in this whole realm of communication, right? What if you're communicating something very important to you and people then make it about themselves? Or they don't understand how to deal with how you're communicating. Meaning that you're unloading a lot, you're saying a lot, and yet they still aren't doing what you need or want from them. What do you do in that situation, especially if you consider them a close friend?
I try to keep in mind that communicating is different for every person, right?
Yeah.
And I try to communicate differently with every person. So I'm not going to communicate the same way with you as I would with Adam.
Got it.
Because my ultimate
Oh, hey, Adam.
my ultimate goal is for this person to understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
So like I try to keep, now it gets fucking hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's say you're having
How hard?
I mean, rock
hard? All right. As you were.
Why? See?
See, here we go. Producing.
Anyway, it gets hard to get your point across at times, especially when you're having heated exchanges, when you're having arguments or you're having disagreements at the workplace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I always try. My goal is for this person to understand what I want them to understand, where I'm coming from. I try to keep my eye on that prize.
You brought up a very good point.
What's
communicating when it's heated. How do you communicate when you're angry? Let's say you're seeing red, you're seeing red. Are you still a good communicator, or you don't even know how to communicate when you're seeing red?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
It's harder. It's definitely hard. I think it's harder for everybody. Sometimes it depends.
Are you good at communicating, especially with friends, partners, just things in general? Everything that has made you mad at them. Are you good at explaining to them why you're upset?
I think I am. And,
Okay.
and as I said before, communication is not only speaking. So I communicate in many different ways.
But isn't that passive aggressive though? Like if you sitting there like,
well, no, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, I know you. But like, you know what I mean? Like I may not pick up your phone call for, depending like I may
because you're cooling off. You need a period.
Depending on what it is, I address if I care about you, I'm going to address it.
Yeah.
If I don't care about you, I don't need to address it. I'll probably still address it,
Yeah.
but then like after I address it, it's done.
Got it.
But if I care about someone, I have to speak about what it is. If there's a difference in opinion, if there's something that's like coming in between us in our relationship, I have to speak about it because I want us to get over it.
It's interesting because I'm actually having a come to Jesus moment with you saying this right now. It's a therapy session with Marco.
That's
How
what this
funny.
is.
What is it really?
With us.
Because I'm not the person that tends to understand what you just said in a sense of like, if they're willing, wanting, and trying to communicate exactly why they did what they did, I have to at least share some grace and show some grace that they are at least acknowledging and trying to communicate better.
Yeah.
I take people with a grain of salt. I call it what like it is and all that stuff. And I'm challenging myself to be better in a sense of when people acknowledge their fuck ups or acknowledge that they haven't been communicating the right way or it's been a bit abrasive or whatever, I have to be more accepting in honoring that they're trying.
Yes.
Instead of just saying like, you still the same bitch you were before. You still the same fucker. Like, fuck, because that's very much of just throwing people away.
But that comes with growing as a person and as an individual. Like we've had disagreements and we have gotten over them. Like I remember.
Oh, we had a big disagreement when we weren't even talking.
Yeah, and I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And you had enough grace to be like, you know what? I appreciate you saying what you're saying.
Because I knew that it was genuine.
Correct.
Yeah, and we had our cooling off period where we weren't really talking. We were at the same bar, just like staring at each other, wondering who should say what to who.
Yeah.
And,
But not for nothing, like this comes from growing. Like I come from a background, like I used to do mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Oh.
So like I used to fight.
He's a fighter. He's a track.
No, it's but I used to fight. So like sometimes it's like in my head, I'm like, I would just beat this motherfucker's ass. Like not you.
I remember when we worked through it, you said that to you. Was like, I just wanted to punch you in the face. And I was like, I wanted to punch you in the face.
That's the thing. It's like, no, like if you have a disagreement, like sometimes I resort back to that fucking caveman mentality.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but that's stupid.
He's acknowledging the cave? Okay.
I mean, you don't need
growth.
Listen, exactly. Growth. Physicality is never the first
Oh, no, I'm
option.
just talking about who you are. No, you're talking about, okay, got it.
Listen, that's why people love me, though.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I don't think fighting is ever really like the resolve of any.
No,
there's no way in communicating in that way. That's the last resort. Because
yes.
I mean, physicality in that way is just aggressive. Like that's just ridiculous. It's like, what are you gonna solve in that? Sure, you'll get some aggression out, but go to the gym, go for a run, just
now,
get your endorphins out that way.
Happen sometimes.
Oh no, sometimes it's well deserved. I'm not advocating violence.
Remember that time we was in an elevator?
We talked about it on this.
Did we talk
talked about it being Black and American, child. Check that episode out. No, but it's interesting how I communicate is I process things very differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be mad for a moment and I'm just like, let me just deal with this. And then I guess I resort to the idea of like, is this relationship worth communicating through all of the issues to get better? It's like, am I willing to, I guess, do the work, as people would say, to
but you see
to make this better?
Right there, you're looking at the end game.
Yeah.
The goal of getting that communication to the next
Well, because
level.
let's be clear, I don't want to quote Tyler Perry, but Tyler Perry had this really great quote in one of his plays where he was talking about how you have to put people in your life as if it's a tree, right? You have people who are leaves, who just fly everywhere they go. Like the wind blows are over there, the wind blows are over there. Then you have people who are a branch. They're strong, but they still can break. They're strong and they're there for certain moments, but they still can break. And you have to give grace to those people because like they're trying to be something, but they still aren't perfect. But those people that are the root of the tree are the people, because there's a lot of roots, but the people that are those roots of your life are the people that you should stick in your life because they're doing all of the work and they're actively trying to grow you into the best tree that you are. And I cannot believe I just quoted Tyler Perry.
Nah, shout out to the great Tyler Perry.
Billionaire Tyler Perry. Billionaire Perry. You know what? He's doing a lot for the community. Shout it out. You know what, Tyler? I mean, if you're watching him, y'all at him.
I'm a fan. I've always been. I look up to him definitely. But no, that was
even all the movies.
Yeah, no lie. I appreciate his
How you think they communicated in those movies? Okay. Yeah, but I think that's what I'm learning in regards to all of that stuff. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off,
No.
Adam. If you don't mind, could you pass some of that water that we are?
We'll edit this part out. We'll edit this part out. No, but it's interesting how communicate. Is it a black thing, you think, how we communicate?
No, it should not be.
Got it.
That's the thing.
What about passive aggressive people? Because I've been accused of being passive aggressive, rightfully so.
Okay.
But do you think that passive aggression is a way that most people try to communicate in order to just not cause confrontation? Because it's easier to be like somewhat shady than actually, because then you could say like, oh, I didn't even mean that. It's like basically you're throwing the knife, but you're not stabbing the person.
I feel like
does that make sense?
I feel like that way is worse than actually.
Child, that's everybody in America.
But I see. Yeah, I can't relate to being passive aggressive. Like I have to.
I know that's right.
No, but I just I don't. I feel like it's worse to be that way.
Really? Why?
I do. Because it's at the end of the day, I feel like you're prolonging something and making it worse than actually,
So you think you should deal with it instead of trying to be fake about it?
Either way, like as I said, I deal with it because I care about the people that I deal with it, and or don't deal with it at all and like cut that person out completely.
Got it.
And it's hard to do that at work, obviously.
Yeah. We touched on something a little bit ago about expectation. Do you think expectation fucks up with communication? Bars. Does expectation fuck with communication? Yo, rapper. It's a tequila. Oh, water.
What?
My bad.
Anyway,
do you think that fucks with communication? Expecting people to communicate the way that you want them to.
Yes, every day, all day, 100%. And
so that's on you, though. Then that's on the person who's
on most
applying
people,
that expectation.
Absolutely, that's the thing. But that's why I always say you have to be considerate about the person that you're trying to communicate with. You can't have the same expectations that you have in this new relationship that you did in your old relationship. Stop trying to typecast.
Let's take relationships out of it. Like, do you think people do that with friends? Do you think people
when
do
I
that
say
with
relationships,
coworkers?
yes,
Yeah.
all types of relationships. You cannot typecast a person. I've literally gone through it my whole fucking life.
Got it. Have you had your waves of friends? Like, have you had your periods of? Because you have actually a lot of friends that have been in your life for a long time.
Motherfucker, let me tell you something.
I don't. So
I've had friends who watched this or listened to this podcast initially, and were like, "Marco, you speak so well. I was like the vocabulary."
Bitch.
What?
They were talking about me.
No, but it's, like that's cool.
Yeah.
But are you not my friend?
So I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know me well enough to think that okay, when I'm hanging out with you, I'm on chill mode, or if I'm at a bar, I'm on chill mode, as opposed to if and when I want to, bring my A game or discuss a topic. Like I get it, but I don't.
But I blame them for that. That's on them to get to know you and to communicate more with you, right? I have to say something just to give kudos to you. Like, you communicate well with your friends. I remember we were driving one time, and you just called your boy just to check in. Like, I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, you just really just got on the phone, and you just said, yo, just checking in.
Well, yeah, you know what? Like, see, that's the thing. Listening.
Yeah.
Listening. I know, a handful of my friends are going through certain things, and I'm busy as fuck, as are you.
Yeah.
But if I could take a couple minutes to just give somebody a call and say, yo, you good? Everything good? Like, I might be in your neighborhood. Can I bring something over? Like,
I know that's right.
But no, I'm fucking busy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it is going out of my way. But if you care about somebody, you have to go out of your way slightly. But, like, it's not really going out of your way if you care. That's the thing. Just,
you know?
it's about being considerate, having that certain amount of consideration for the people that you care about or your friends. Or
And you know what I care about? You, Marco.
you care about me?
And I care about this conversation. And I care about us ending right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Listen.
It's been great. I think it's been amazing.
Listen, all of our conversations go so well, and I think each one of our episodes definitely can go on for hours.
And I know y'all want it, so I'll leave it here at the podcast. I've been getting the notes. I've been watching the comments. I've been getting
what
the
they've
DMs.
been saying.
Make them longer. Make it all that stuff. But we like to make it sweet, short, and for that good train ride for you, bitch.
Hold on. Oh, never mind.
Anyway, we appreciate you guys listening. Please follow us on social media. Speak for Yourself podcast.
Yes.
And everything that speak with the number 4 yourself podcast. On YouTube, on Instagram, follow there. I'm just Patrick on Instagram.
And I'm Marco Glorious once again.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.